guys, Becky here. Welcome to my minimalist survival challenge. So I'm just going to have a run through of the kit that I decided to bring. So I brought this nice little bag to attach my wool blanket. So that is one of my items, a wool blanket. Now we'll look inside. So I've brought a little hatchet, a mini hatchet with me, Raymir's one. That's one of my items. I have a 1 litre Pathfinder canteen. I bought an emergency thermal blanket. It's one of them nice reflective blankets for extra warmth. A little hat, so that's part of my clothing. I will wear that hat. And then I've brought a mini ferro rod with a striker. And then my last item is mackerel, so just a little bit of food. My challenge is to try last the night, do an overnighter with all the gear that I have. Yeah, so that's what I'm planning on doing. So first off I'm going to start with a raised bed. Right, so I just collected the 2 poles that go either side for my raised bed. So I'm going to lay pine slats across the top. I think that's the easiest way of doing a raised bed. I quite struggled a bit getting the logs over here because it's quite a distance and they were quite heavy, so that burnt a lot of energy, which I don't have any calories to replace, but it's needed to get me off the floor for the night. I need a raised bed so it's warmer and more insulated. So as it's quite wet, well it is wet on the floor and it's damp, the raised bed is a great option. Just keeps you off the floor, and then I could lay some spruce boughs or some fern on top of the slats, and then put my wool blanket on the top. So yeah, I haven't done this design before. I've done tripod beds and other designs, but I haven't done this simple one where you have 2 logs and the slats across. Just literally taking off the little branches and twigs off so it's more comfortable and they're not sticking into you when you're laying on them. So I'm just going to get one more pole and I think that will be me done. As there's not many spruce boughs around, I'm converting to using fern, as if I get a lot of that, that will be really comfy and insulate me from underneath. So I'm going to keep collecting this and lay it on my raised bed. So I kind of sliced my finger a little bit when I was picking the ferns for my bed. So the good thing about pine trees is the little blisters that you get on them. They're really good for putting on your cut. So I'm going to pop a blister on here. Quite satisfying. There's a bit of fatwood in that as well. So I've just put it on my finger, and it stings a little bit, but that's part of it. Pine sap smells so good. If you've never smelt it before or seen it, it smells so strong. Really nice resin. So I'm going to use that bit of fat wood, put the remaining sap on there, and that will go great when I'm fire lighting. So I got here at about 10ish, and it's half 1 now, so I've been collecting firewood. I've done my raised bed. I've put leaves underneath my bed for more insulation, and I've got the poles for my fire reflector. I'm gonna have a snack, so I'm gonna have my mackerel. Bon appetit. Collected a big bunch of birch bark, so it won't be no problem lighting. So I'll light that later, just before it gets dark. I've been constantly busy trying to improve my setup, so doing the raised bed, collecting loads of firewood, making the fire reflector, and collecting the fern and setting everything up. So I think I will be nice and warm. I've got firewood to hopefully last me throughout the night. I've got my fire reflector to keep the warmth in and reflect the heat back at me, so I don't lose much heat. I've packed leaves under my bed so it insulates it. I've put fern on the top so it makes it more comfier and also insulates me from underneath. And then my wool blanket. So I looked on the weather and it said the temperature tonight is 6 degrees, which is quite cold. It hasn't been that cold for a while. I've been used to it being really hot at night. So I'm just trying to make a really long fire that will last throughout the night to keep me warm. And I've also got a wool blanket, which is ideal. And I don't think I showed you, I bought this. So this is the Austrian Army surplus jumper. It is super warm, really warm. I only wore it a few times last winter, because I literally got it near the end of the season, so it was too warm to wear in the springtime. So I'm going to be wearing that, and yeah. So I might have a quick run through of the clothing that I am wearing. For the top, I have a Helly Hansen base layer, which I always wear. If you've watched my videos a lot, you'll see I normally have it on, especially in the winter time. So this is really warm. I like the zip on it, because if I get a bit hot I can just undo it. So yeah, that's my top. On the bottoms I have the matching pair of the Helly Hansen base layers bottoms. So I've got them underneath my trousers. They're just to keep my legs warm. They also are great in cold weather. Over the top I have my Fortress trousers. So it's got Velcro on there to make it tighter or looser. Got 2 pockets here, which are great, and these have come in really handy for collecting things. I put the birch bark in there and pieces of fat wood, so they've been great. And it's also got 2 pockets at the back. So these are really nice. I go on my knees a lot and I'm working, so if I'm sawing wood or chopping wood in this case, or collecting something, I normally go on my knees. So I really like these. They're quite thick material, so the water doesn't soak through. I stay dry. They have adjustable Velcro to make it tighter or looser. I'm wearing, so these are my Helly Hansen bottoms. I'm wearing wool socks, nice wool socks, keep my feet warm. And then I've got my hand wag Tetra boots that I really like. I'm just looking around now, thinking of what to do before it gets dark, because it gets dark really early now, about 6ish. I might collect some more fern for my bed, just to make it extra comfy. And I'm not sure if I might go get some more firewood. I just really want it to last me, so I'm not cold. And I also might put it closer to my bed, so I don't have to get out every how many hours to keep topping it up. So I'll put it a little bit closer so I can reach it from my bed. So the reason I'm collecting my sticks off the trees is because it's been raining recently and everything on the ground is quite wet or damp, so that won't be good for my kindling, which I'm using to just start off my fire. So I'm getting these nice dry pieces that are off the tree. I packed my bag in the aim of having 5 solid items, so I kind of based it around that, and I wanted it to be quite difficult items, so I didn't want it to be just like a normal camp out. I wanted it to be quite challenging, and obviously I could have made it a lot harder, but I felt like this was right for my skill level. So I brought a wool blanket And what I've done, I used it for my tripod bed, it's sewn, so it's half and half, and then I've sewn it along the side, so it's kind of acts like a sleeping bag, so I can get in it, and I've got something on the bottom and something on the top. I bought this. I don't know if I'm going to use it. I haven't put it out. It was kind of like a backup in case I got really cold. The next item was a ferro rod, so I will be lighting birch bark with that very shortly. The next item, let's see, oh yeah, my hatchet. So this has come in really handy. I was torn between bringing a hatchet and a saw. We've had a debate about that before, so I wasn't sure which one to bring, and I thought, you know what, I'll bring the good old hatchet, because I defended the corner when I did the debate with Bushwhacker Man, so I thought, you got to keep to your guns, right? And it's done me really well today. It's got harvested a lot of my wood and split things, and it's just been great. So yeah, that's the Ramir's Bushcraft hatchet that Stephen Byrne got me quite a while ago, and I'm still using it, Stephen, so thanks for that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to think of my fifth one. Oh yeah, my water. I wanted to bring a stainless steel one because I could put that on the fire tonight if I get cold, and heat the water up and put it in my wool blanket, and it will act as like a hot water bottle. And I also have a brick phone with me, so I think in today's society that's the biggest challenge, to not spend time on your phone for like a whole day and night. So that is a big challenge for a lot of people. I've said before that I don't spend loads of time just scrolling through my feed. I obviously have to post videos and post to Instagram and Facebook from Girl Outdoors, but I don't really go on it loads, and I try and limit the usage of it, as I feel it's not the best thing to do with your time, and I have a lot of reasons for not liking it. Even though you get to communicate with good friends and meet new people and share these sort of stories and read blogs and things, there's other reasons that I'm not a fan of social media, and I try and limit my time on it instead of spending all your life on there, wasting your time, unless you're watching good videos that you have an interest in, so like bushcraft videos or whatever your interests are. Yeah, so I brought a brick phone with me, so I couldn't go on social media while I was here to distract me, or listen to music while I was working, or watch a video at night. So all I can do is really call on it, which I'm fine with. It's okay. So that is a little bit more of a challenge. Nice tinder bundle. There's a lot of fat wood in here, so that might go up nicely. It's really nice when you light a fire. It kind of boosts your morale. Really nice feeling. So this will be doing me a lot of favours tonight, apart from keeping me warm it will give me some light. So I don't have a torch with me, so this will be my light. Something to look at. It's just like a little TV. And it will get rid of any midges that are around. So yeah, it's nice having one. So the sun's getting lower and lower in the sky. So it's going to be dark very shortly. You can tell that the temperature's dropping. So I'm going to start putting more wood on the fire and maybe putting my jumper on soon. So the good thing about having that wool blanket is, as there's a lot of sparks from the damp wood, it's not going to burn through it or catch light or whatever. So it's a good old school hard material, so very nice. Got the fire, it's nice and warm now, really hot, and I'm contemplating whether the wood I've collected is going to last all night. I got a range of woods, so I got birch. I've never burnt birch before, so I wasn't sure of the burning speed. I got sweet chestnut, which lasts for quite a while, and then a few bits of pine, which burns really quickly. So I got a range of stuff. There's obviously no oak in this part of the woodland. While I'm sitting by the fire, I want to give a shout out to someone. So a really nice guy who I met in Wales when me and the fam went to the campsite in Wales, the Brecon Beacons video. I want to shout out to Paul's Primitive Bushcraft, Paul Smith's Primitive Bushcraft. I'll put a little link will come up now. I just want to say go check out his channel, it's absolutely amazing. While we were staying there, he had a little camp on the campsite and he was staying there for a few months, and it was just really good. He does a lot of primitive skills, so really primitive, and I just thought it was amazing. You'll learn a lot from him. He's got a really nice channel going there, so he's really genuine, he's really nice, and he explains things well on his channel, so go check that out. Thanks guys. So my fire's going really nicely now. Before I go to bed, I'm going to put a few large logs on so it will last for a few hours, and then I'll probably be up in the night putting more logs on. So I put them right behind me so I can get to them easily in the night, so I won't have to wander off. But yeah, I'm going to chill out now and then going to head off to sleep. So night guys. It's quite chilly now, so I'm glad I've got the fire going. That's really warm. It was a good decision starting it when I did, because it's built up enough heat. So before I went to sleep, I put loads of logs on the fire, obviously so it would last through the night and I'd stay warm and I wouldn't have to get up and put more logs on the fire. So I built it up really high and thought, oh yay, that will keep me going. And the wind must have changed direction, and I woke up and my fire reflector had caught light and the fire was starting to get out the pit that I dug, so it was a little bit out of control. So maybe I went a bit OTT on the wood, and yeah, that was a bit silly of me, really. I just wanted to be prepared, but I must have put too much wood on the fire, and it got way too hot. I'm sweating. It's probably like 6 degrees now, and I'm literally in my base layer, so hot. So it must have got really hot. I'm sweating now, so that's great. If it gets any colder, because when you're damp, it's not the best situation to be in. So the next thing is I had to put the fire reflector and some of the fire out with my water. So I used all my water to do that, and then I've just been digging with the stick soil and putting that on the fire, and that's worked well now. So it's really died out, and it's a bit cooler now, but still really hot. So yeah, that was a bit of a shock, and it's a massive learning curve. Obviously I wasn't going to start a forest fire, it wasn't that bad, but it just got out of control in this area, and it's because I'm sleeping so close to it that you've got to pay precautions. It wasn't a massive fire to cause a forest fire or whatever, it was just because I'm sleeping so close to it that it was quite worrying. And if the fire reflector collapsed and came my way, then that would have been not the best, and loads of embers would have flown at me. But yeah, it's a big learning curve. I've sorted it now. I've got no water, but I know I'm going home tomorrow, so I'm going to have to last throughout the night and the morning without water. But hey ho, humans can go 3 days without water, and I've been drinking today, so I guess that was a consequence, and I'm definitely going to learn for next time that that was a silly move. But yeah, the fire's gone right down now. I'm not going to put any more logs on. It's just way too hot. If I put anything on there now, it's going to go up in flames. So it's crushed down to embers, and it's still giving off so much heat. So yeah, I was just sweating out so much. I had my wool jumper on, my base layers, my trousers, my socks, and the wool blanket, and that fire going. It's just it was just way too hot for me to handle. But yeah, like I said, it's a learning curve. I've learnt my lesson, and I think I'm going to try dry off my base layers a little bit, give it time to breathe, and then I'm going to go back to bed. So I was just laying there for a while, for like an hour or a little bit more, just so the fire would calm down a bit, and then I must have dropped off for like 15-20 minutes, and that's when the wind changed direction. Or not even that, I wasn't even asleep for that long. Yeah, so I don't know what the time is now, I'll have to check. But I've only had 15 minutes sleep so far. So I think this is all part of the challenge. This is what makes it. Everything was going well for me. Everything was perfect. I had it all planned out. I thought I was sorted. But Mother Nature kicked me up the backside and probably told me that there is a lot more to come. So yeah, it was a lesson well spent to not be so laid back, maybe, or just keep an eye out on the fire for next time. Because I never burnt birch before, I wasn't sure how that would work out. Birch wood has loads of birch bark on the outside of it, so it ended up just bursting into flames instead of just smouldering. What I'm used to, the woods I'm used to are like sweet chestnut and oak, which just smoulder when you chuck them on the fire. But birch wood just blew up in flames. So I just checked the time and it's 10. So I'm going to try get some sleep. I'm probably going to be a bit cold now that I'm a bit damp and I'm not having a fire going as much. So yeah, I'm going to try get some sleep, and I will be home in the morning and get a nice drink. So maybe that wasn't the best of ideas, but I needed a way to quickly put the flame out, and when you just woken up, that's what you run to. So night, guys. It's 5 o'clock now, and I decided to put the fire on to warm me up a bit, because I was feeling quite cold, and it's the morning now, so I'll put that on. Morning, guys. I woke up, luckily. I've got some visitors who came to see me this morning. They supplied me with some hot coffee and some bacon.
Hot water bottle?
Yeah. So thanks for that.
Some donuts. It's done well, didn't you? Done really well.
Thanks. Yeah, I was still sleeping and I could hear Buster running around, and then I woke up to some nice food. I really appreciated that after only having mackerel yesterday. So thanks for that. Really
Appreciate
nice.
the little things, don't you, Becky?
Yeah, it's been a really good challenge. I've enjoyed it.
On to the next one.
Yeah, definitely do it again. It was a really good experience, and I really appreciate the little things. So it was quite a chilly night last night, and I definitely appreciate all my kit that I have back home. Like, I even appreciate having a little fork to eat my food with, instead of using a stick to try and poke the mackerel out the tin yesterday. I just think as human beings we take so much things for granted, and this challenge has really taught me a lot about myself and what I take for granted and how spoiled I am. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and I'll definitely be doing a challenge like this again, and probably learn more about myself in the future. And I think that's the great part of living, is learning about who you are and who you are as a person, and being unique as you decide who you want to be, and not turn into just another person in society. So I think that was a really nice challenge, even though it was pretty tough, that I got quite cold in the night as the fire went out at about 12. You appreciate it now that I've woken up in the morning and it's done and the challenge is finished. So it'd be a different story if I had to stay another night, because I'd have to start thinking about building a shelter, collecting water, hunting, and collecting more firewood. So it'll be a completely different story. And it's just amazing how in this modern society that how much we've changed and can't really live like we used to, as we're so used to our comforts and just living easily, really, having everything done for us. You just go down the shops and buy your meat, and you've got your nice quilts and mattresses and heating and running water. It's just crazy how different these two lives are. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I've just learnt so much about the little things, and more personal things as well that I've learnt about myself. So if you go out and do this challenge, you will experience the same sort of thing. I'm so glad they came up this morning, because I put all my water on the fire, so I thought I'd be hiking back to the car with no water, which would have been a bit tough. So it was a complete shock seeing them here. It was a surprise. I didn't know they were coming, and I just woke up to see them standing there. So I really rate my clothing. I definitely love this jumper, the Austrian jumper. Had this lovely hat, my trousers and my socks. I took my boots off, so I just had my socks on, which were wool socks, really warm. There's my fire reflector, got a little bit burnt. So there's the fan that I slept on, got quite flattened, but it did the job. The bed stayed up, so I was pretty chuffed with that, considering it's my first raised bed like this. I'm all packed up now, going back. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to all my subs and my Patreons, and anyone who watched this video, so thank you. So I just collected this polypore mushroom. I might experiment on stropping my blade and making some plasters. So I could have made some plasters yesterday, but my cut wasn't that bad. It was only a little thing, and the pine sap did the job. But that's a really nice polypore.